If you are an anthropology student, this video is for you. Every year I had been providing this explanation of mains anthropology paper in live soon after the exam. But now I have come with a new series. Under this series, we will be discussing per every video that I am releasing one PYQ. So we would be beginning with 2025 and we would work backward. So on a weekly basis, several videos that I am releasing, you will get an opportunity to know clearly what should be the structure and what all content has to go in each of these questions. Parallelly, I will also be showing where in different test series we have incorporated a question on those lines. Several times you get verbatim the same kind of a question. On several occasions you see questions from the same area. So let us begin. Look at this particular question, as I have mentioned there, Anthropology 2025 in paper 2, there is this question. Critically examine James Frazer's theory of evolutionism and elucidate the place of religion in modernity. Basically, it is here we see two questions. One is examining Frazer's theory of evolutionism. Second one is religion's place in modernity. Now, the questions that we had given in the series that was held before the 2025 main examination, we had in Anthro-Ment 2024 in the test 8 summarized James Frazer's views on religion. Even in that question, in the current applications of James Frazer's theory are mandatory. So indirectly, we would have covered how his theory is applicable in the current times. But then in the UPSC exam here, you see very emphatically incorporating that question specifically. Now, in the 2025 exam also, in the Anthro-Ment also, we have incorporated this question, discuss James Frazer's classification of magic and its relationships with the evolution of religion and science. So, this is in a way slightly of a different genre. Now, I will bring to you one of the models in which you can answer this question. Those of you who have been finding it difficult to begin answer writing, this series will definitely of great help to you. Now, the first part of the question is critically examine James Frazer's theory of evolutionism. One major mistake students do is when it is said critically, you try to criticize them. No, you will have to bring in both positive and negative aspect of anything that is there in the question. And also, you see three things here. One is critically examine. Second thing is Frazer. Third is his theory of evolutionism. Three major keywords are there. We will try to structure our answer around it. Now, you always have to remember that the opening statement of your answer has to reflect the entire theme of the question. In fact, in this question, you have two parts. One is James Frazer's theory. Second one is how religion is connected to modernity. In fact, one of the criticisms against James Frazer's theory is he did not speak about post-civilizational age, even if we call that civilizational age as the modern phase. So he did not talk about, and this word modernity can be seen as civilizational age or post-civilizational age. Most of the time we link it to post-civilizational age. So we are in a way trying to answer in that question the applicability of his theory in the contemporary modern times. If that is the understanding that we have, your first paragraph should talk about how James Frazer, a classical evolutionist who was the author of The Golden Bough, was instrumental in providing the theory of evolution of religion, bringing the understanding from magic to religion to science. And this explanation is currently applied to understand the linkages between religion and modernity. This will form your introductory remark, wherein you have incorporated the most important facts, the fact of Golden Bough and classical evolutionism, his basic model of evolution from magic to religion to science. And also you brought this point that this examination, this presentation of James Frazer's theory is now also used in understanding the linkages between modernity and religion. You have linked the entire thing. Having said that, the next is his theory of evolution of religion. Here you may have to bring the most important things, like he is seen as a unilinear evolutionist. He gave the unilinear evolutionism. Even before that, if you would want to talk, you may talk about his fieldwork tradition. Now, I'm trying to do this because in a 10 marker or in a 20 marker, how exactly you can sprinkle the concepts. Sometimes if it is a 10 marker, you would simply bring those terminologies in your answer. If it is a bigger question, you try to elaborate. So here, if you would want to begin within the theory itself, the fieldwork tradition, you may perhaps indicate that though he is termed as an armchair anthropologist, similar to several others, though he is termed as an armchair anthropologist, he was credited with a strong linkage between the field and himself through strong secondary sources of data collection. And this reflected in a more realistic storytelling, more realistic narration of the field in his books. This will bring both the things. He as an armchair anthropologist. Second one is his strong credential that you are noting on how stronger his narration, how realistic his narration is. I hope you are getting my point. And then the core of your answer is here. That is his unilinear evolution model, that is magic to religion to science. Here you may perhaps give a table form to indicate what are the major characteristics he found in magic and religion to science. So in that evolutionary scheme, how he was talking about loss and how he spoke about reason and rationality. Reason and rationality. I think these are the two major things that may bring a closeness to your question, because in that question you may not be able to write a lot more things. These two you can explore. What kind of laws were there? You can explain in magic, and how laws were changing in religion and how in science. So unilinear school of evolution, you will explain that. Having said that, you also have certain things to incorporate. That is how Frazer indicated the sequential nature of evolution. Sequential nature of evolution, even in the British society, how he was talking about why magic was rejected and why religion was rejected, and how science had come as the topmost stage of evolution in this process. So sequential and also successive, one after the other. What made him give this kind of a theory? That is one major thing you would speak about. Having said this, you may bring therein the critical appraisal. In the critical appraisal, one major thing that comes is unilinearity. See, I am not talking about his armchair anthropology here because we have already discussed it earlier. If you did not discuss it there, here you can talk about his armchair anthropology nature and how he is credited with a strong fieldwork tradition. Okay, and when you are talking about strong fieldwork tradition, you may incorporate several other books also there, not simply the Golden Bough. Whatever you can recall from his 9, 10, 11 different kinds of books that he has written, you can sprinkle a couple of them. And second thing is unilinearity. Thirdly, or the other criticism here is the successive nature which was given importance by him. This becomes another very significant critical appraisal of Frazer's theory, that in the people like Malinowski or Boas, when they had criticized about the presence, the simultaneous presence of magic, religion, and science, even in the society such as the British society, that challenges the successive nature. Now, it is here you can now link with the positive elements also. We are not simply to talk about the negative aspects, but then we have a strong tradition of studying religion and magic was established by him. This can be seen as a strength, because even till today, the kind of contributions he had made are being applied in understanding the evolution from the primitive to the so-called modern societies, or primitive to civilized societies. It is here that we can have a huge kind of comparative theory and comparative content that he has produced in overall literature that he has given. And also, we see that his theory was later used, his writings were later used, if not the unilinear and successive evolution model. His books, his literature seem to have influenced heavily people like Malinowski in turning to anthropology, number one. And then there are a huge lot of thinkers like the entire school of symbolism that used various concepts and various fieldworks that he has incorporated. So it could be Gide's symbolism or any other symbolic school where religion was actually picked up and magic was actually picked up in the study of symbolism. Having said this, we can bring it to modernity, and now this is in the current context. According to the critics, even in the time of the science, even in the current times of modernity, we do not see the two elements totally segregated. The modern societies very much have incorporated in themselves religion, its ideologies, its influence on upbringing of people, and several other things. So as I'm trying to make here, even in the most secular states, we have religion-based identity or ethics or any other cultural things. We cannot totally segregate religion from science and modernity. That is established today. I have given a couple of names here who are known for de-secularization concept. Secularization has emerged as a major modern concept across the world. But even in such cases, we see that religion is having its influence, and those are the ways where Berger and other sociologists have spoken about this. Now, there is something else, anthropological reflexivity. I think with anthropological reflexivity, you can close this answer. That is where we have the incorporation of religion in modernity, and modernity trying to be having an influence on religion. We have certain terminologies. I thought you can use them in the concluding remarks here. That is the way digital spirituality has increased, or how religiosity and environment have come into picture, and how religion in a particular sense of civil religion, or the way, in a multi-religious societies, how religions are interacting with one another, and that is actually resulting in the social structures and culture patterns that are emerging in the contemporary times. I think, this shows that even in the modern times, religion and belief systems are still the enduring factors. I hope you got some kind of an understanding of how exactly you can structure your answer and how you are trying to draw the conclusion. Because, the first statements that I told you, generally those statements people try to write in the concluding remark. But no, here, those general concluding statements we have written in the first paragraph. Towards the end, we are trying to bring latest concepts that are emerging in the subject, or the latest thinkers that are known in these type of topics, I think that can give you better edge than a conventional kind of an answer which a student might be answering. I hope you liked this particular way of answering questions. Now, I would be doing this series. Don't miss on these discussions. Try to subscribe to the channel and try to share. And also, you can perhaps try the Anthro-Ment program that I have, where several tests are conducted comprehensively, covering the entire series. And yeah, I would try to see that. And yeah, once again, subscribe and try to write these questions and try to write your comments, your whatever in the comment section. Yeah, thank you so much.